All right, we're recording video. Let's get the podcast recording started.
All right, fire it up.
Go. And welcome to Frequent Miler on the air. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
Doing well, doing well. Today we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about how Frequent Miler as a business is going to survive COVID-19. Not the happiest topic, but we are going to survive. So I guess it is a happy topic.
Right.
Anyway,
it is.
First, let's jump into reader feedback. But before we do that, I just wanted to mention to anyone watching or listening that we're changing up our technology this week. So we don't really know how well this is going to work. In the past, we had been recording the video using something called OBS Studio, and now we're using Zoom. And we're still trying to record the podcast sound with Squadcast, which is the thing that kept crapping out on us before. So luckily Zoom seems to be recording the sound pretty well. So it should be a good backup for us. We'll see.
We're hopeful.
But if there's any glitches or anything or any, unpolished segments to all this, we'll blame it on the technology being new. All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds like a good excuse to me.
The
audio engineering team appreciates your patience.
Yes, they do. Our feedback comes from David.
Okay.
David says, guys, I'm really enjoying the podcast and appreciate you guys putting it out there. Just a quick point of clarification from the most recent episode. I think Greg mentioned a couple of times about a 48-month clock between thank you point card sign-up bonuses. But I was under the impression that the clock for these bonuses was only 24 months. I'm newer at this game, so I'm not sure if I am right, but I was hoping for some clarification. Appreciate it. So, David, first of all, I'm glad you're enjoying the podcasts. We're enjoying doing them, so that's a good combination. And I think he's right. If I indeed did say that it's a 48-month wait, which I probably did say that last time, David's right. It's not. It's 24 month. And Citi is really confusing. And I just recently updated our best offers page to show the rules more clearly. So, on our best offers page, you can click to jump to any of the banks, any of the credit card issuers, like jump to Citibank or Chase or Amex. And at the top, there's app tips. And there we show the sign up rules. Like if you go to Chase, you'll see the 524 rule. If you go to Amex, you'll see the different rules about how quickly you can sign up for more cards. And so with Citi, I finally got around to spelling out the 24-month and 48-month rules because they vary by product family. So the thank you cards, if I'm remembering right, they're 24-month from the date at which you got the bonus or from the date you canceled. Any other thank you card, which does not include the double cash because that's not considered a thank you card, even though you can move your points to thank you points. American Airlines is where they have the 48-month rule. And I think that's from sign up, not from bonus. And then they have like a 24-month rule. I think it is for their Expedia cards, but it's not from the bonus. It's from sign up, I think. So every product family they have has different rules, which is
they continue to make very little sense in much of what they do, which is okay for the most part for us. But the thing about this is I can't memorize those things either. So what I always do, and I'm sure what Greg did in this case initially anyway, before he went and made the changes, was he went to our best offers page because we do have the application rules under each bank. So if you just go to our best offers page, you can get there from any page on the website on thefrequentmiler.com. You click best offers, then each bank section, there are hyperlinks to each bank, Amex, Citi, Chase, etc. It's got the application rules. It's got the phone number for reconsideration if you don't get approved right away. So all of that kind of information is really easily accessible on our best offers page and also on the individual card pages for each card, right?
Right. So, and what I was saying earlier, it wasn't before all that clear with those Citi cards. Mm-hmm. So that's cleaned up. It's now, I think, crystal clear. If you go to an individual card page, in fact, there's a lot more detail about those rules than there is on that best offers page. So I think we're good to go there, and it's a good idea to use our website to fact check anything that we say here, because the things we say here are completely unscripted and also completely unfact checked, except for bright listeners like David. So.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because we had a piece of feedback somewhere this week where somebody mentioned how they enjoy the fact that the podcast sounds like it's unscripted, like we're just kind of have a few topics in mind and it's just kind of off the cuff, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, that's totally exactly. True. I mean, we come up with a couple of topics, we say, okay, we're going to talk about A, B, C, and whatever comes to mind comes to mind. So it's not like, definitely not scripted. We don't have this written in advance.
Right. And in fact, we just have a few notes that we each put up on our screens, and they have to be just a few notes because both of us take off our glasses for these things. And so the notes have to be written big enough that we can see them without our reading glasses on.
Actually, in my case now, so I lost my glasses a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going contact lenses all the time now. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd really like to get a new pair of glasses, but these days ordering anything seems to take like a month. So, I haven't done that, mostly because I figure I'm not going to get them forever. And my wife, just before we started recording this, said, well, if you keep waiting, it's going to be even longer. You should probably order those soon. So, but it's true. It's true. We usually have them blown up really big. I'm sometimes using 2 monitors. So, we've got just those basic notes, like Greg said, and it's off the cuff. It's live TV, so to speak. So every now and then, if one of us misspeaks, we do appreciate it if somebody catches that. But like Greg said, the key details are usually on the website. And if they aren't, then comment and let us know, because then we'll fix that up and make sure that it's clear.
Right. So just basically a safety warning. Don't believe what we say, but hopefully what we write is correct.
Right. There you go. Do as we write, not as we say.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Okay. So the topic for today.
Right.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to make it through? I mean, that's.
Are we going to make it through?
Are we going to make it through this?
Let's talk for a minute about how we as a business, how Frequent Miler makes money. We're a business that we're full-time. I've been full-time. Actually, on April 1st was my 8-year anniversary of being full-time.
Congratulations.
As a blogger. Thank you. And so that's amazing in itself.
Yeah, it is.
Like who would have ever thought we would have been bloggers for a living? It's crazy, but that's what we've been doing.
And people don't really believe you when they ask you what you do for a living, and you're like, "Well, I'm a blogger." They're kind of like, "Oh."
Well, yeah. Really? People who don't know the blog, there's kind of a reaction of, I could tell they kind of pity me.
Right.
Like, oh, he can't find a real job.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So you definitely get your fair share of that, which is okay. I mean, hey, before I did totally this, fine. I didn't know you could do it full time either, and I've been full time here for Greg, salaried since I started. So now it's been 3 years, I guess, right? So
has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah, it has. Yeah,
Time
it was 2017. Yeah, it does. It does when you're having fun, and we've been having a lot of fun. So.
We sure have.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so the way the blog makes money, there's 2 major things. The easy one for people to understand is we do display ads on the website. That finally started becoming significant money about 6 months now, not even 6 months ago. Well, maybe about 6 months ago, when Boarding Area is the technology hosting platform that they host our blog, and in exchange for us, in exchange they sell advertising space on our website, and they keep a percentage of that advertising space. And so that's how they make money, by hosting our blog. And it's great for us because we don't have to do any work in trying to get the best advertising dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the extra hours that would take every week to pour into that aspect of it that neither one of us would probably enjoy.
Exactly. That's not what we're here to do, and not how we want to be spending our time. So anyway, they sell the ads. They recently changed things so that the ads show up in the blog posts, because before they were just sort of on the sidebar and not many people saw them, and you don't get paid unless people actually see the ads. So that might be a little bit more annoying for readers that they're in the posts, but I think that people are used to it. And so
I think so. I don't think anybody's mentioned any negativity from that. I feel like you see
we haven't heard
everywhere.
any. Yeah, exactly. We haven't heard any negativity about it, which is nice. And I just think almost every website does that these days. So it's not like we're doing something egregiously bad. In fact, one of the nice things that we do by not doing is we don't do those pop-ups that pop up over the thing you're trying to read, trying to tell you to sign up for the newsletter or whatever. We don't do that. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, those kind of things, go to our subscribe page and subscribe to those things as a thank you for us not popping that up. I've refused that from the beginning because I hate those things. I hate it when I start reading something and then something pops up over me, especially when it shakes a little. But anyway,
I'm not calling anyone out by name.
I don't want to. So I don't want to inflict that upon anyone else. Anyway, so I'm getting off track here.
Right. So we got the ads.
Ad revenue.
Yep.
So the ad revenue, and that's a percentage, but a bigger percentage is our credit card affiliate links. What that is with certain credit card offers, not all of them, we have links where when you click through our link and you apply and you successfully get approved for the card, all three of those things have to happen, then we get a commission as if we're like we're salespeople. And I say like we're salespeople because we handle it very differently from salespeople, right? We do put those links there, but if there's a better offer that we know about, a better public offer that we can put in there instead, we're going to put it in there instead, even if it means no affiliate commission for us. And we don't try to like push these offers or anything. If we're writing about a offer, it's because we think it's a great offer, regardless of whether there's an affiliate commission attached to it or not. And so we don't think of it as selling cards, but the affiliate networks do.
Well, and I should pause you for a second because you were talking about putting the link in there and whatnot. And I want to be clear. I'm sure you were going to come back to this, but I think it's worth mentioning now that when he talks about putting the affiliate link in there is on the card specific page, which you can get to from our best offers page. We do not put those credit card affiliate links within posts, and I think that's an important distinction. You're not going to find a post with 40 credit card affiliate links in it about 90 million reasons why you should get this particular credit card. If we're writing about a credit card we think is worthwhile, we're certainly going to tell you why you ought to take a look at it and why you ought to think about it. But we don't put those links into posts. So you have to specifically want to apply through our link.
And that's important too, because when we're writing the posts, again, we're not thinking about the affiliate commission. We don't even know if when you read it, there's going to be an affiliate link on that card page or not. We will probably, if we're writing about a card, we will link to that card page. We may even use a short code that's sort of a tech speak for how we embed little bits of information, but we will put a short code that embeds a little piece of that information from the card page right in the post. But we don't see that at the time we're writing the post. So if we were including the offer in that short code, in that little blurb that shows up in the post, it's because the offer is part of what we're writing about. Like we're writing about that there's a new offer out. But the truth is, it's just pulling from our database. And if later you read that post later when that offer has changed, you're going to see the most recent offer, not and it might not be an affiliate offer. We actually just don't know at the time when we write it whether it'll be an affiliate offer or not when you see it. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off track from the main point, which is that's the majority of our income. Despite all the things we do to not push the things and not be, to make sure that the readers are getting the best offer, it still has been by far the biggest source of our revenue. And so ad revenue and affiliate credit card revenue are two biggest sources of revenue. There's little bits of other stuff, like a little bit of Amazon affiliate links, very little of other stuff beyond that. So what's happened recently? One thing that's happened is the advertisers who pay for the ads on our website have been not bidding as high. So there's this whole automated bidding process that happens. I don't understand it. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it. All I know is the bids have not been high. So that means that even if we have just as many page views as before, just as many people viewing the ads, we're not getting paid nearly as much as before. Okay. The other thing that's happening is credit card companies are starting to pull their cards out of the affiliate network. They're saying basically, we as the banks don't want to pay someone to advertise our cards right now. So the whole affiliate networking thing is it's a marketing channel for them. How they pay us to market their cards basically. And right now they're saying in this current economic climate, that's not the right thing for us to do right now, which I totally get it. I mean, I'd probably be doing that too if I was a credit card issuer. So the thing is, the banks that have pulled out already represent more than 71% of the affiliate commission we earned in the last rolling 12 months. So it's not a small change we're talking about. And I'm saying more than because when I checked the numbers before, it was 2 banks had pulled out, and by a day later, at least one more major bank had pulled out. I can't remember if there was another one. But anyway, that's what we're facing right now is a sudden huge decrease in our revenue as a blog, as a business. I'm not saying all that to complain. I feel like I and we are just so incredibly fortunate, and part of that is we did really, really well this past rolling 12 months leading up to this. So I look at the extra money earned as money that's going to get us through this, because while keeping the blog running, the actual electronics of the blog running doesn't cost me anything. There are salaries to pay. So Nick is full-time employee, and we have 2 other part-time employees. And so I'm happy that we have so much in reserves, basically, that we can keep things going, even if revenue drops to nothing, which it's not going to drop to
nothing. For the record,
but...
I'm pretty happy about that too. As are my wife and son.
Oh, good. I'm sure you consulted your son about it first. And,
I did. I was like, listen, are you sure you want another apple juicy? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, you better thank Greg for that later on.
Okay. All right. Good. So anyway,
no,
we
but
have
seriously,
we have enough reserves to keep going for quite a while, which is,
I feel very
fortunate. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wrote a long post about, which probably most listeners read it. I don't know, but there's some number of listeners and watchers that probably didn't read it. So if you're interested in more about what I'm talking about right now, look for my post on how a frequent miler, the business, is surviving COVID-19. But what was so cool is that in response to that post, there was just an outpouring of love from readers, basically. I mean, it was fantastic.
It really was. It really was very meaningful, and I don't know why I was surprised, but I was taken aback, I feel like, with the number of positive comments, and it was very uplifting because, like Greg said, I think both of us feel very fortunate to be able to do what we're doing. I mean, my goodness, like day after day, I feel like at the dinner table, I've mentioned how lucky we are, that I've got a job still, because, I'm from New York, and lots of my friends and family all of a sudden, like on a day's notice, had no more job. And, I'm not in that position. And I feel really, really fortunate for that, and fortunate to work for Greg. And Greg's been a fantastic boss all along. I've often told people I won the employment lottery here. And I really feel that way because, here we are in a position where revenue is going about to zero, and Greg saying, that's okay, I'm still going to keep everybody employed, and we're going to keep tracking through this. And that's pretty amazing. So I feel pretty fortunate, but at the same time, I'm as nervous as everybody else, in the sense that, like, obviously I'm nervous about the virus, and I have a family member who's positive for it, a few friends who've been fighting it. So I'm nervous in general, just like everybody else is watching the news at night and that kind of thing. So I'm a little anxious. And it was just very emotional to read all of the positive comments there in an environment where we feel a little uncertain about everything, not just money in the blog, but the world in general. It was really comforting in a I don't know, special way. So thank you very much.
It sure was. It sure was. And number of readers offered, they said, put up some way that we could contribute, which we totally do not need, at least not now. And I really don't foresee us ever needing that, but it's so nice that people are so appreciative of what we do that they're actually willing to go out of their way to, and even offer up their own resources for us to keep going is amazing. And, yeah, so that's something. Now, a few people offered advice about applying for those the federal loans now. Oh shoot, what is it called? The paycheck protection,
payroll protection
program? That's it. Yes. And
I like payroll being protected.
Right.
Those of us on the payroll are big fans of that one.
So honestly, at first I was hesitant about it because I was worried that if I apply for it, like, again, I don't feel like we need it, but I felt like if I applied for it, does that mean that businesses that are really need it are gonna lose out? And what I've been, I actually, one of the people who reached out to me is Gary Luff, who writes View from the Wing. And I voiced via email my concerns about that. What's the right term instead of voiced? I don't know. Expressed, I guess. I expressed my
there
concern.
You go. Communicated.
I emojied my concerns. And he wrote back basically saying, first of all, with numbers, saying it's pretty unlikely that I'd be taking from anyone else. But his other kind of view was, I could apply and if it turns out that I don't need the money, I could just set aside the equivalent amount of my own money to donate to a business or a charity or whatever. And his view was that he thinks I would do a better job of finding someone, who really needs that money than the government would do. And because right now it's basically self-policed. And so whether or not I'd be better at that than the government, I do feel better about that approach of saying basically, yeah, I think by the letter of the agreement, I have to use that money towards payroll, which is fine, but I can keep a equivalent amount of my own money aside and just say, if it turns out I don't need this, I'm donating it to a worthy cause. And so that's my plan. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I think that is a very reasonable plan, and like you said, I think we feel very fortunate to be in a position where we can keep on keeping on for a while here through tough times that we expect for the next few months as far as any kind of income for the blog goes. So I feel very fortunate for that, but at the same time, none of us know how long this is going to last, and that's what this kind of program is set up for, to be able to keep people making it through this time. And so hopefully, if that helps keep us in business and employed, then then that's what that kind of program is obviously meant for. So
right.
So I think it makes sense to have done. I think it makes sense if you're listening out there and you're kind of teetering on that, should I or shouldn't I? That argument made a lot of sense to me, and was actually the first thing that came to my mind too when I saw the program and thought about it. I thought to myself, well, we may not need it, but if it turns out that things return back to good again, then we can certainly pay it forward and make sure that people are taken care of that need it. So I think that seems like a wise decision. So of course, that sounds good coming from the guy who's staying employed, right?
It does. And there's a few little glimmers of encouragement in our business. So Citibank decided, oh, this is a great time to raise the standard offer for the American Airlines business card, which is just so funny because business cards are what the other major banks are pulling from the affiliate networks.
Right.
And US Bank
Dare to be different, Citi. Nice job.
But US Bank was like, hold my beer, because I've got a card that was previously useless, but now I'm going to give you a $750 cash sign-up bonus for this small business card. And not only that, I'm putting it through the affiliate network. So how about that?
Right. I mean, who saw that coming? Because I sure didn't. So.
No.
It's like, what? Where did that come from?
So maybe they're smarter than Chase or Amex, but
probably not.
Probably not.
I didn't mean that. I'm joking. I'm having a joke at your expense. All right, don't get angry at us and take those away now.
That's right. We love you, US Bank and Citi. Right now, we love you.
Right, very much today.
Despite everything we say about you. Okay.
Right. Oh, man. So, I mean, that is good news. And hopefully there'll be more glimmers of good news like that along the way. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're going to continue writing about the stuff that we enjoy writing about because that's what we like doing. And, I think that we believe in frequent miler. And I think, we already believed in frequent miler. I think when you emailed, you said you believe in the business. And so you're willing to invest in the business, even if we're not bringing in revenue. And I felt the same way. I believe in frequent miler. I enjoy what we're doing. I think that, hopefully it provides some value to people who are reading the blog. And I felt even stronger about that after reading the comments on the post this week. So I felt even better about the fact that we're going to keep on keeping on and hopefully doing something that helps people. I mean, I think obviously we're right about miles and points, and so I don't want to make that sound too grandiose, but at the same time, I hope that the things we write about help people enjoy travel, trips, fun with their family, the ability to expand their horizons a little bit and experience a little bit of the world. So I like to think that we do something good along those lines and help people, stay financially healthy and that sort of thing. So I'm glad we're going to be able to keep doing it because the alternative wouldn't be as good. So that's awesome. So thank you to Greg, for continuing to make that possible. and it's great to have Stephen and Carrie. Stephen and Carrie have been great additions. We should not fail to mention that because, obviously Greg said I'm not the only person here. And Stephen does a fantastic job finding different things for quick deals and offering a different perspective on travel and on point redemptions and on promotions. And Carrie has been so helpful behind the scenes. If you watched our YouTube live yesterday, you probably saw Carrie for at least a couple seconds, right? Behind the scenes, making all the magic happen. So that was very helpful, and it has been very helpful. It's been a great addition too.
Yeah. In case anyone doesn't know, so Carrie is married to Drew, who is the brains behind the blog Travel is Free. Now, Travel is Free sold to the Points Guy not too long ago. But despite that, we still love Drew.
Yes, we do. It rhymes.
And Carrie has been contributing to this blog on small projects for years. And the biggest thing she did was when I went to Necker Island for a week. I don't even know, were you aware of this, Nick? That she
I do know that. And I guess I probably hadn't thought about it for a while, but yes, I do know that she handled the videos for that.
She produced like everyday videos that we put out on YouTube about my experience on Necker Island. And the way we did it basically is I took videos from my phone. I had my phone syncing up to Dropbox, had her on that same Dropbox folder, and she would just go through all these miscellaneous videos and pick out ones to make a kind of story out of each day. And she did a fantastic job there.
Yeah, those came out great.
And she's also done just miscellaneous things for us with when we needed graphics. She did a infographic. I was having trouble remembering that word for a second. A cool infographic once about how points transfer among Chase credit cards and things, who you could transfer points to, because it's kind of complicated. But anyway, that team's been terrific, and we just hired Carrie as a every week employee. She started a few weeks ago, and it's been great having her. So that's good news.
It's great. It's nice to be able to keep the team together, because I think we've assembled a pretty good team. And you talked a little bit about the business of the blog, and so I think it's also kind of interesting to note that there are a lot of those things that happen behind the scenes. So obviously there's the posts that you see every day, but then there's a lot of those other little things, like designing the way things look, and we've been working on moving to a new theme for a long time now, and so getting that all tweaked, and you talked about those affiliate links and maintaining those and trying to make sure that the best offers are where the best offers need to be. There's a lot of those other little things that go along with the blog, and so it's great having all of the extra help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Stephen's been incredible on working on something we call the tag project. I don't need to get into details here, but he's really taken that on himself. It was based on his own suggestions, and he's gone wild with it, which is fantastic. He knows what he's doing, has great ideas, and is willing to put in the time. So
he sure does. So it's great to be able to keep that brain trust. I mean, because Stephen's got a lot of experience too, because he's had other sites for years. So Stephen's got a lot of experience with sites in general, and having more than one, having multiple, I think probably gives him a lot of perspective in a way that I think is helpful to have.
It sure is, absolutely. And Carrie too, because she's worked on the Travelers Free website. She was the technical team behind it. She did the HTML, or all the graphics, and she would get into the HTML, although that's not her thing particularly, but certainly did the design, and would research things about how to improve the search engine optimization and all kinds of things with that blog. And so she knows a lot about it too, and a lot of stuff that I've never taken the time to learn. So having both of them along with their expertise is fantastic.
So that leads me into a question to ask you, because I feel like this question kind of came up a few times in the comments, and maybe we've touched on it a little bit, but I think that it's a question that probably a few people have going through their mind right now. So if they want to see the Frequent Miler team stay together and get through this, and then we obviously all do, what can people do if they want to support Frequent Miler? Like you said, we certainly don't have any intention to go to some sort of a subscription model or that sort of thing. We're certainly hopeful that those kind of things aren't ever necessary, but what can people do if they want to support the site?
Yeah, well, I mean, what people have been doing all along since I started the blog, I think, is when people are really into the site, they encourage others. They tell others about it and get them subscribed to the blog. And now it's not just a blog, it's also the YouTube channel and the podcast. And so however your friends like consuming information, if you think they would like this stuff, recommend it, and see if they can get it. Also, a lot of people, I love hearing this, will say, I trust you more than any other blog, so I tell all my friends and family to sign up through your links. Now, probably 90% of the time, our links are not actually links that pay us, but the truth is, the 10% has been enough to make us a very successful business. And so,
and that's, he's saying before, really, like 90% of the links before they started getting pulled.
Yeah,
right?
That might be an exaggeration.
Yeah, it's an exaggeration.
Probably before it was more like 50 or 60%.
Yeah, 50 or 60. Yeah. But and still, we've been able to make it through with that. So and be very fortunate. So yeah. I mean, I would. That's kind of the things that I would say. So. I mean, the first thing you can do is read the blog, right? So check out the posts, and when something interests you, read through. You get the email or that sort of thing if you're subscribed and you want to click through the site and read it. That's obviously something that's good. And like Greg said, sharing it with friends and family, subscribing where you can, whether that's via email or YouTube or the podcast if you're listening on this. Obviously, all of those things are helpful. So, and then obviously using our links when you can. And I think that a lot of times, like you said, if there are even banks where we don't necessarily have affiliate links for, in those cases, if you take a look at our best offers page and you don't see an affiliate link for something, then obviously look for other sites where you might be able to support folks. Although in a lot of situations, I imagine that if we don't have them, there probably just aren't
Most
affiliate
wouldn't
links for
either,
those.
right?
Yeah.
What occurs to me that we should do, so
Mhm.
we now, for the links that are not affiliate links and that are also not refer a friend links. So sometimes we just use our refer a friend links because they're better than the affiliate links, or because we don't have affiliate links. But when it's neither of those, we actually put a note next to the link saying this is not an affiliate link, just to let people know that in case in case you were about to sign up because you thought we'd get paid, we wanted to make it clear just so you know that you won't. But we should probably also do the opposite, say this is an affiliate link, because right now it's kind of subtle. It's like you have to know that when you see the realistic credit card image, then you know it's an affiliate link. But
Yeah, and that information's at the bottom of the best offers page, but it's all the way at the bottom. You'd have had to scroll all the way to the bottom.
Right. I think it should be right next to the link, or right under the link, something like that. So maybe we'll do something like that, just so people know that by signing up for that card, they're helping us out. That might make it easier for people who deliberately want to. We've got to help frequent miler.
And we're lucky to have a lot of people out there who do read and who are listening, and so thank you to the people out there who are doing it, because that's why a big part of the reason why we do it. I guess most of the reason why we do it is because we think people will enjoy it. That's why we do this, and why we do most of what we do. So we write about what we're interested in, and that's always been something that I've enjoyed about Frequent Miler even before I worked here. I feel like you've always just kind of written about what you were interested in, and most of the time it's interested me.
And that's all we could do. And so, all right, that's enough of that topic.
All right, we're all set with that. So let's talk about some other good news. Since we kind of turned that around to the positive and look at the positive, let's talk about some other good news. So good news this week, Hyatt totally made us into bad predictors again. So Greg's streak of being really bad at predictions is remaining alive, and he's drawing me into it now. I'm starting to catch whatever this is that Greg has, because man, not 24 hours after I on our live stream went on about how we're not going to hear anything from Hyatt or Marriott for a month or two or more, Hyatt just turned right around and they were like, "Ha, hold my beer. Here you go."
That's right.
Here we go. We're going
to. So what are they doing? Remind us what's changed with Hyatt.
All right. So this week, Hyatt announced that they are going to extend everybody's elite status for free. You're going to get whatever status you had on March 1st of this year. So whatever status you earned in 2019 based on your stays in 2019, whatever status that was, is going to get extended through all of next year. So you're going to maintain your status until, instead of your status expiring February of 2021, your status is going to be valid until February of 2022. So if you earned globalist status in 2019, you're going to have that status throughout all of next year and all of the year after that. So that's all of next year until February of the year after that. I just misspoke. See, that's why you have to fact check and look at the post also.
That's right.
So they're going to extend your status. So you're going to get an extra year of status. So you're not going to lose that. You're going to get an extra year to enjoy that. And then also awesome, they are extending free night certificates for another, even more than a year in some cases. If you had a free night certificate that was expiring, now you're going to have to check the post and fact check me on this.
Okay.
I think if it was expiring between March 1st of 2020 and December 31st of 2020, it's now getting extended to December 31st of 2021.
All right. And so that includes those 6-month ones, right?
Right. That's why I'm super really excited, because if you stayed 30 nights last year, you got a milestone reward. You got a free category 1 to 4 certificate, but it was only valid for 6 months. And so mine was set to expire in another couple of months here. And now it's going to be valid not just for like another 6 months, but for like another year and a half, basically, until the end of 2021. So that's terrific. By that point, I'll certainly be able to find a use for that certificate. So that's great news, I think.
Oh, absolutely. So going back to the elite extension, right? I don't know why I'm going to predict anything given how bad my predictions have been, but
I hope you're going to predict the opposite of whatever it is that we want right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you and I are going to care if this doesn't happen.
Okay.
But
all right, good.
My prediction is that American Airlines is going to do the same thing, that whatever status you have now with them, they're going to extend a whole nother year. And And the reason I'm picking on American Airlines is because I'm so mad that I didn't go for Hyatt Globalist last year, because had I gone for it and succeeded, not only would I have Hyatt Globalist, that's their top tier status for
an extra
2 years based
right.
on earning it for 1 year. At the end of last year, or maybe the beginning of this year, I forget, they gave the Globalists American Airlines top tier executive platinum status. So I'm just thinking that free gift is going to just keep on giving, and that's why I'm picking on American, is like they're going to extend that for a whole nother year. So Stephen Pepper, who was one of the people who benefited from that executive platinum thing, I'm sorry, I just jinxed you, Stephen, but because I'm predicting you'll have executive platinum for another year, which for free, which means you won't, because my record has been so bad.
Don't be too sorry when that prediction doesn't come true. Stephen Pepper is a man on a 5-year, 50-state road trip. He's like the least likely person to take advantage of American Airlines executive platinum status. The man drives everywhere, and he's got American Airlines executive platinum status. It's not fair. No, it is fair. But yeah, I think that's probably a good prediction. And I hope that we see something similar out of Marriott, because I have titanium status right now, and so that gave me United silver status, which isn't amazing, but I did get to take advantage of a free same-day change earlier this year, and I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of convenient to have. So not enough that I'm going to fly United often enough to earn it, but hey, if Marriott extends status and I can get another year of United silver status out of that, I'll be happy enough anyway with that result. So hopefully Marriott will follow suit. One thing though about the Hyatt announcement that didn't make any sense at all, and my bet is that it just was people within the loyalty program that weren't thinking, because they don't focus on how this is going to, how it would have played out as much as you and I will. But one of the things they announced was that if you have suite night awards or the suite night upgrades as a globalist, or club lounge awards that are expiring between March 1st and December 31st, that those are going to get extended also basically for another year. But that doesn't make any sense at all, because nobody has any of those that are expiring this year. If you have suite night upgrades right now or club lounge certificates, those are valid until February of 2021 right now. So they should have extended those until 2022. And
right,
I bet they probably will when they realize that the way they did it didn't make any sense. But but right now, as of right now, if you're a globalist and you have suite night or those suite upgrades, I keep saying suite night awards, that's what Marriott uses. If you've got those globalist suite upgrades, then right now those are only valid until February of 2021, even though your status goes another year.
Right. And so sure. Do you have any of those in your account?
I don't. I'm an explorist, so I did get to 30 nights last year, so I have club lounge upgrades that would expire February of next year. And that is a little annoying, because while I don't often do that, and generally if I'm going to book a Hyatt stay, I'm usually going to book it as a guest of honor with somebody who's a globalist that's willing to help me out with that. However, I talked recently about Hyatt Privé, and Hyatt Privé is pretty interesting. And if we come out of this and there ends up being some really great rates at places with club lounges, then I may end up booking through Hyatt Privé and wanting to apply those club lounge upgrades. So I would like to see those extended another year if my status is getting extended. So.
So I'm still hoping that Hyatt will also reduce the requirements for getting to globalist for next year. So for those of us who are not already there,
I still think they probably will, because
I think they probably will too. But obviously they
business.
Wouldn't make any decisions this early.
No, obviously not, right? By the time you hear this thing, by the time I get this uploaded, they're going to have announced their reduced requirements, probably, if our prediction skills keep up here. But no, I think it's likely that they will reduce them, because obviously, like I said the other day, I don't think I was wrong in the sense that they need to do something to encourage business when travel is safe again. And so I think they're going to incentivize people who don't already have that status. It's just nice that they've also extended people who had the status already for another year. So lucky, big win for Hyatt Globalists and even Explorers.
Right. So there was more good news this week. Which is Simon Mall, which we've written about a lot, that they've had these $1,000 gift cards that you could buy in the mall, but now all the Simon malls are closed, at least for now. And so they finally made it so that you can order those $1,000 gift cards, Visa gift cards, online. And you wrote all about that. I think it's the same card activation fee, right? $3.95 per card, but you also have to pay $10 per order and a shipping fee, which if you pay for ground shipping, somewhere around $10 to $12 probably, but maybe more depending on where you live, right?
Right.
So that's the good news, that we now have a way we don't have to go to the mall to buy those $1,000 gift cards. But how the heck do we liquidate these things?
Yeah, I mean that's tough stuff for people. We shouldn't understate the I think the advantage of having those to order online. Now, obviously, right now the malls are closed, but the malls will open back up again. If you live near a mall, you're going to want to go to the mall because you're not going to want to pay the shipping fee and the processing fee. But for those of us who don't live near a Simon Mall, and believe it or not, there are many of us out there who don't, that's a pretty awesome ability to buy in bulk. So when things open up again and it's safe to go out and liquidate again, I am really excited about that. It's not the cheapest. I wrote a post this week about the best cards to use. It's not the cheapest form of online MS out there. That you can do better buying other gift cards. And if you're going through a shopping portal and whatnot, there are better options out there in terms of the cost per card. But the convenience of the $1,000 cards is huge for me.
Yeah.
And the quantity that you can buy in, also huge for me. So, and the fact that Simon is very welcoming to MSers, I'm not going to have trouble with orders getting through and that sort of thing once you get approved for the program. So all of those things are big pluses for me. But obviously, yeah, right now, everybody was asking the same thing. And I don't think we have a magical answer to it. You know, what do you do with those cards right now?
Right.
Not much.
No. So the other thing that I'm not happy about, I mean, I'm not blaming anyone. It's just one of the reasons why I'm not excited about the Simon Mall thing is that they only let you use one credit card per order. And so if you want to do anywhere close to $25,000 worth in a single order, you have to have a huge credit limit available on your card. And it just happens that some of my best cards for getting the best rewards for my spend at a place where there's no category bonus involved, they don't have credit limits that high. So and so when you're talking about a lower credit limit, the $10 and the $12 shipping fee, those things add up to quite a bit per card. So suddenly you're as a percentage, it's becoming not just a little bit more expensive than buying through giftcardmall.com or giftcards.com, but actually a lot as a percentage of the card value.
Right, which is it is definitely true. So, like we said, it's definitely not the cheapest method out there, and it's not the only method that you can personalize with your name. And that's obviously also a big thing here is that these cards can be personalized with your name, but you can also do that on other cards that you order online. But here's what I'm going to say about it: that the $1,000 cards are much, much easier for me to liquidate. The $500 cards are not bad. They're much better than the 200 and 100s. But the thousands for me, I can liquidate really fast and easy because splitting tender once or twice doesn't tend to get nearly as much skepticism. So it's faster, it's easier for me. And at the end of the day, I did the math in the post. And if you're ordering 10,000 at a time, you're paying $6.15 per $1,000 card. So essentially, that's like, if you're comparing to $500 cards, it's a little over $3 a card comparatively per 500, right? But the thousands are much more convenient for me. So I'm happy to get the thousands. And I had a lot of trouble getting orders through on those sites that sell the $500 cards. So,
right.
So I'm still happy with it, even though I know that not everybody who MS is going to be. It's also a quantity thing because you're limited to, what is it, 60K a month that you can get cash
I think
back.
that's right. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So $60K a month, you should be able to go through a portal to get those $500 cards cheaper. Otherwise, they're not going to be cheaper anyway.
Right.
With Simon, you could be doing, $60K every 2 or 3 days if you
That's true.
if you wanted to. So if you have the capacity to liquidate to do more volume, then that becomes different. And I can typically liquidate when things are okay at home. Obviously, when I can go out and do it, I can't right now. But when I can typically liquidate 20 to 25 in a day, pretty easily in a couple of hours. So for me, being able to do that, I'm not going to do that 7 days a week because that's not what I want to do with my time 7 days a week. But once a week, that's pretty doable if I wanted to, or at least twice a month. So I'd probably do more volume through Simon. So I like that. And when I break it down cost per point too, it's, again, not bad, not as good. And so if you're only going to do a few thousand, that kind of thing, you're not even going to want to bother with this. If you're looking to do $2,000 or $3,000 at a time,
exactly.
Turn it off. Like you're not, don't even bother applying for the program. They're manually processing the applications. So it takes a bunch of time, and, there's just a few people right now for Simon that are working on this. So it's going to take probably a week or two. They originally said it'd take a few days to get approved, but they've had so many people signing up that it's probably going to take a week or two to get approved for the program. And don't even bother wasting the time if you're only going to buy 2,000 or 3,000 because it's too expensive. But if you can buy 5,000 at a time or more, it's not terrible. It comes out to like 0.6 of a cent per point for a $5,000 order if you're using a card that earns 1.5x. And if you're using a card that earns 2x, then your $5,000 orders are less than half a penny a point. I mean, it's still pretty profitable, especially if you can handle the volume. It all comes down to how much you can liquidate.
So, but if you're not going to be liquidating more than $60K a month,
right?
Then aren't you better off if you could get your orders through? Aren't you better off going through giftcardmall.com and getting and earning those membership rewards points through the Rakuten portal?
Yes. Mathematically, you certainly are. It's a matter of, I already get an eyebrow raised now and then when I go to buy $2,000 or $3,000 in money orders and split 2 or 3 ways. If I were to try to split that 6 ways, I would get more eyebrows. So, it's speed of being able to, because I would not be able to probably do as much because I'd still only be able to split 2 or 3 times before they call the manager and the second manager and the third manager at the places where I'm liquidating. So yeah, if you're only going to do 60 a month, and if you've got places that are super friendly and easy where you can liquidate, and you can liquidate more often than once a week, if you have opportunities where you're driving past a grocery store, that sort of thing more often, then yeah, go through Gift Card Mall, of course.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, this is really great for the real heavy hitters.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say medium or if you're looking at 100K or more. I think you're looking to do.
I think most people who are not
right
super heavy into this would look at 60K a month and say, "Whoa, that's an insane amount of money."
Oh yeah, so yeah. I mean, the $1,000 cards in general, are only for people who are looking to hit heavy, right? I mean, like, this isn't something.
Well, not necessarily. So when you can buy them from the mall, I think for a lot of people, it makes a ton of sense for the reasons you said, that it's easier to liquidate when there's far fewer of them. Let's say you just try to hit your minimum spend requirements for some new credit cards. You go to the mall, buy 5 or 6 of these $1,000 things.
That's true.
You've met your minimum spend on maybe 2 cards, however many, depending on the minimum spend requirements. And then you go about your business buying money orders with them or paying your taxes with them, whatever. But I think. But on the flip side, online one that is pretty much.
Heavy
hitters.
I'm going to run the other side of that then. Like, if that's your deal, if you're just looking to spend $4,000 or $5,000 one time to hit a sign up bonus now and then, so what are we talking about in total cash difference? Like $10 or $15 or something that you're going to pay more by buying these online than Gift Card Mall, and you can sign up and know that you're not going to have an issue with. I mean, obviously, if you could do it cheaper, if you can get it at Gift Card Mall, fine. But like, we're talking about a really minimal difference overall. If you're going to buy 4,000 or 5,000 once or twice or 3 times, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't waste the time to sign up for Simon and give them all the personal information that's required. But in terms of the difference in cost, if you're triggering a $750 sign up bonus on a new card and it costs you an extra $10 or $15, it's not. I don't think it's a. I wouldn't do that over saving $10 or $15, but it's not. Like,
I think you're minimizing how much more it is, because so giftcardmall.com, if you value if you get membership rewards from Rakuten and you value them at 1.25, then you're actually, there's like no fees. I mean, it's actually almost negative fees, but let's just call it zero fees, right?
Okay. All right.
With Simon, you're talking about the $4 per card fee. So let's say you're just doing 5 cards. So that's $20.
$20, yeah.
$10 fee to make the purchase overall. That's $30. And then 10 or more for shipping. So $40.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If you're going to value the points, and I certainly value the points at 1.5 cents each. So if you're going to value the points as like a cash equivalent, then yeah, you're right. So I'll give it to you. Greg won. Greg won.
Yay! Given last week, that's a big relief for me. we had Nick winning 3 times.
I did. So Greg is working on evening the score here. He's got me once. But of course, we both lost to Hyatt this week, so I don't know where that leaves us.
Right. Yeah. But for a good cause, so it's okay.
Right. And to go back, by the way, to the liquidation question, a lot of people ask how you liquidate, and obviously taxes are a way to liquidate right now. Online from home, you can't use them anymore on plastic or plastique, however you say the service, where you can use a credit card to pay ordinary bills. You can't use the Visa gift cards for that. So that's out. Really, you're limited in terms of how you can liquidate these. You could use them, I believe, to fund Kiva loans, right?
You can, but that would be kind of silly, because you could use your credit card directly to fund Kiva loans. Right. So unless you're getting 5x when you're buying gift cards, which you're not going to be doing with Simon Mall unless you have a secret that we don't know about, then you might as well just use your credit card directly to fund those loans.
Yeah. So there really aren't many great options in terms of how you're going to liquidate online. Right. So I wouldn't hurry out to buy those this week if you don't have. I mean, if you have some magical solution, if you've got the unicorn way to liquidate them online, great. But whoever has those solutions is probably not going to shout them from the rooftops. So you're most likely going to want to wait until you can safely liquidate them again in person.
Right. Hey, Nick, if you have any of those solutions, you can whisper it to me right now. No, I won't tell anyone, I promise.
I don't have them.
Oh, come on.
Pay your taxes. Yeah. Well. So, all right. So that then brings us next to talking about Frequent Miler Live. We were live this week.
We were, and I did a Bane impression about midway through.
He did. His voice got very low all of a sudden.
It turned out that the microphone had a loose connection, or something. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in and fixed it. But people were kind of bummed that I.
You sounded like a totally different person. I was like, "Whoa, is there something?" At first, I thought it was something wrong with my ears. I was like, "Uh-oh, am I okay? Like, is this a symptom I don't know about? Like, do your ears start, doing funny things?" But so at first I thought it was me, and then I thought maybe it was my headphones or something, or my connection, and then I saw. Excuse me. Sorry about that. That's how you spread coronavirus. Hopefully not. I think I'm feeling okay. So
we're at least 6 feet away from each other. So
exactly.
Okay.
More than 6. Our faces are close, but luckily, we've got a lot of distance. So I thought it was me, and then I realized that other people were hearing the same, and they seemed pretty entertained by your voice.
Yes, they did. That seemed to be a highlight of the show. So we can't promise that every week, but we are going to repeat this every week. At least that's our intention. It seemed to go over well. People enjoyed it. People at least claim they did, so they were being nice.
They seem to. It seems true. As best I can tell, people seem to enjoy it, and we enjoy doing it. So we're going to go live again. We did. So when we say doing this, not doing this, but doing that.
Right, doing that. So this show will continue every week, and the new show, which is Frequent Miler Live, will will happen every week. Now, right now it's scheduled for, we're planning on doing Thursday afternoons. Now I saw that 1 Mile at a Time is doing theirs every Thursday evening now as a set thing. So we might want to talk about another day, but at least for right now, that's what we're thinking. But you'll see us announce if it's something different. But the best thing to do so that you're alerted when we go live is what? Do you want to tell
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So get on YouTube, the Frequent Miler YouTube channel, which you can find, of course, all the different ways to subscribe to Frequent Miler are at thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. So you can go to that or click the subscribe link anywhere on our site. And so that'll give you all the different ways. And so you want to go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love to have more subscribers on our YouTube channel so you can get all the content that we're putting out there and get notified when we go live, more importantly, as Greg's saying here. So if we decide to do it at some other time, you get a notification and know that we're live, or get a notification and know that we uploaded something new, because we're working on a few different things right now. So that way you'll find out if we do post something there. So thank you. That would be great if you want to get on there and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That would be awesome. Please do that. Also, even if you're just on YouTube, you could search for Frequent Miler on there, and I'm sure you'll find our channel.
I'm sure you
will. Then just hit the subscribe button right there.
That's right. That's right. So please come out and check that out, and we're going to enjoy that. So did we remind people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Craig?
I don't think we did. Okay. But during those live shows, what we do is we take questions from the audience live, real time. What we have Carrie behind the scenes reading through the questions as they happen, and then feeding us select ones. And that way we can spend our time answering questions instead of reading, which would be really boring for everybody.
And so are we going to change that up this week a little bit? I mean, I think that if people didn't read the posts, they might not see that we had some thoughts about how we're going to switch that up.
Yeah. So because you and I tend to just blab on for a while about things, we only got to a handful of questions. And I kind of felt bad about that when I afterwards read through all the questions that popped up. I was like, wow, not only could we have and should we have gotten more of them, a lot of them would have been really easy. We could have done very quickly. What would have been nice about that too is I think it would have been more interactive. There could have been opportunities for us to quickly give an answer and then for someone to ask a follow-up, and then it would have had a more interactive feel to it. So we're going to try that next week. We don't know exactly what the time limits are, but we're going to have Carrie, who's behind the scenes, basically say we've blabbed on too long and time to move on to the next question. And hopefully she'll pop up every now and then like she did. She sort of
pop in there and just wave.
Appearance a few times where for some reason her screen popped in the videos. That was fun too.
Yeah. So, and that way she'll keep feeding us those questions, and so we'll try and make it through those a little bit faster this time. I think
exactly.
Obviously this is something new to us, so we're trying to find ways to be able to keep it moving, keep it interesting, and also maintain it, because of course if we're talking, it's a little hard to be reading at the same time. So that's why it was super helpful to have Carrie there reading and feeding us your questions as we went. So we didn't realize during the broadcast necessarily quite how many questions there were. So this time around we'll try and switch that up and get more of the questions in.
Exactly.
So please join us, subscribe and join us so you'll be notified and come out there and ask us your questions. And please do feed those questions in. And if you have a question that doesn't get answered and you've been waiting a while, feel free to pop it in there again. And Carrie will realize, oh, okay, let's do that one next.
All right. So speaking of questions, I have a question for you.
You have a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
The question is, do we have any questions from our audience that you're going to feed to me?
We do. We've got a question of the week. So the reader question of the week brings us back to the Simon Mall gift cards. And I thought it was an interesting question. We've gotten similar questions from a few different readers over time. And I thought it was worth talking about anyway, or worth asking you for your take on. So Reader Joe asked a question that has come up in different forms from different people. He said, I've been skeptical about Simon Mall gift card policy for some time, but it seems pretty clear this is a move to increase liquidity and pad their balance sheet, right? Simon surely must be desperate and on the verge of bankruptcy now. might be a lot more profit in shorting the stock than buying the gift cards. And somebody else chimed in, Marco Polo, to say, I'd be more concerned about the viability of the issuing bank, MetaBank. If you read the terms and conditions, your funds are only protected by FDIC insurance if you go online and register your cards. Otherwise, any funds on the gift card could be lost in the event that MetaBank goes bankrupt. So if you float a balance, that could be a lot of exposure. So my question for you is, are you nervous about that at all? Should people be nervous? And if you're sitting on gift cards, is that a risk that the company that backs these gift cards could go bankrupt? I mean, if you bought some before things got locked down, raise your hand. And so if you've got some now in the current economic environment, do I need to be nervous, and what can I do to protect my money?
Well, I mean, why are you asking me? With how bad my predictions have been, that's.
I thought they were good. I thought it was a pair of good questions. Like
it was a pair of good questions. Geez, I'm not a financial expert at anything, so I don't know. How would I know? I mean, I think the second person's right, though, that I'm not worried about Simon Mall going bankrupt. I mean, they might, but that shouldn't have any bearing whatsoever on the gift cards you've bought, because
you're not actually giving your money to Simon, right? I mean, you are in a sense, but
it's going through Simon, but to the bank that's issuing the gift cards. So really the only question are the funds that are sitting around on these gift cards, that are sitting around in a drawer or wherever because we don't have liquidation methods right now, is there a chance of those being in trouble? Of course there's a chance. I don't know how likely it is. It seems to me pretty improbable, but what do I know? What do you think?
I don't know. I have the same feeling. I think that it seems improbable that would be at risk at all, but I honestly hadn't given it a moment of thought before that came up, and I don't know why I hadn't, because we've been talking about, are all the companies going to make it through, and we think the airlines will, and probably most of the major hotel chains, but of course there are some businesses that won't make it through the financial crisis that we could be facing here. So I don't know. I don't know much about the financials of MetaBank or the gift card network.
If you only have a little bit of gift cards and you're worried about it, maybe you use the gift card to buy a gift card to a vendor that is not going to go bankrupt, but and where you'll use their gift cards over time. Like let's say there's a Kroger that you visit all the time. You could buy $1,000 in Kroger gift cards, and you'll use it up eventually. That kind of thing. That's just a way of kind of hedging your bets and making sure that you won't have lost your investment, basically.
Now, I didn't check into Marco Polo's claim about the funds being FDIC insured if you register the cards online. Is that something that you've heard about or thought about before?
I don't know anything
me either. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to look into that.
Sounds odd to me. I wouldn't have expected that, but I mean, you would think, and this is just speculating here, that they would be insured regardless, but that maybe there would be something saying there's not really anything we could do to get you the money back if bad things happen, and if you haven't registered your card, because how would they find us? But
I don't know. Yeah, that's something I'm going to have to look into, because I honestly, I didn't even consider the money being FDIC insured or not. So hadn't ever come to mind before, but not totally unreasonable, especially if you're buying $25K a day. And so if you had 25 or 50K lying around, and all of a sudden, obviously things are closing down and you should be staying at home to stay healthy and prevent the spread, then yeah, I mean, some people could be sitting on a substantial stack of those cards. And so I think what you can do to protect that is an important topic. So that's something I'm going to have to look into a little bit. Great questions. Thank you, Joe and Marco Polo, for asking those. So even though we couldn't give you the answer you were looking for, perhaps in the sense that, well, I guess we did, right? Because we said, no, I'm not worried about Simon going out of business, and I don't feel like it's a play for liquidity. I mean, what do I know about Simon's inner financials, I guess, but that's not a particular concern. But I thought that was a really good point about the FDIC insurance. So we'll look into that.
Yes. Will we? I guess.
Well, I'm going to. I don't know about we.
All right, good.
I'm gonna. I'm
one of us will. The
yeah,
royal will.
I got some of those gift cards, so I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, great. So I think our time's done here.
It is. Our time's done.
Sad. This is sad. The show's over. We're gotta say goodbye.
Only for a short time.
It's gonna be almost a week before
we're not saying goodbye because we're gonna survive this. We're gonna make it through. So
that's
as Greg wrote about this week. So please come.
Very short term. Goodbye.
Please come see us for the live broadcast. So if you want to hear more about what we've been talking about, you want to read the posts that are all about this, you'll want to go to thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. So again, that's thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe so that you can get on our email list and check out our Facebook group and all that good stuff. So make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So thank you guys very much for being out there listening today. Thank you, Greg. I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you, Nick. And did we mention subscribe to our YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah, we should definitely mention that somewhere.
That.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
And I have to stop the recording. Okay.